Hello, I'm Dana Brooks of Fasig Brooks Law Offices, and I'm joined with my law partner, Jimmy Fasig, and this is another episode of Come Back Stronger. And we've got our new backdrop up here, Jimmy, to show about the new Destin office we're very excited about opening. And so we're from Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Destin, just covering the whole North Florida area, and we're bringing these wonderful Come Back Stronger stories because we are meeting people from all over the place. You know, some of them are international, some of them are hometown heroes, and we've got a hometown hero extraordinaire,
hometown hero, a legend.
Yeah, we've got Coach Sue Semrau on. Kimmy Hogan, our law partner, she did an interview with her, and you know everybody's used to the winning record and the barriers that she has broken down in the I think 23 years we've had her in our community. Like I said, she's a local treasure, but tell me, you're raising 3 little girls. What do they think of, and what do you think of when you look at Coach Sue and everything she's done for Tallahassee?
Well, what I love about Coach Sue is that she is empowering young women to be the best version of themselves on the basketball court.
Yeah. She
is the FSU women's basketball coach, and she is a powerhouse herself.
Yes, she is.
And so what I love about a great coach is she's not easy on the players.
Mm-mm.
She is tough, she is strong, and she teaches them to be their very best. And my daughters are cheerleaders, and so they've got great cheer coaches too. And I just love to see a coach in action.
Yeah.
But Coach Sue ended up having to use her own lessons in her own life, and that's what this story is going to be.
Yeah, it's just like with so many people who are high-performing, well-accomplished people, it looks easy.
Yeah.
They make it look easy, and you can't imagine that they've ever had any kind of a struggles. Well, she had a pretty big struggle, and then under the whole COVID year on top of it. So I can't wait till we come back after the break and have Kimmy's first part of her interview with Coach Sue, and we'll find out what she did with her personal struggle. But then the second half is fantastic because she talks about how she's addressing some of the inequities among women and men in college sports. So stay tuned.
Can't wait.
You're going to have a great show right after this.
I recently had a new client, and she suffered a mild traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
And she had no idea what had happened that caused her to be injured.
Gotcha.
But it turns out she had fallen into a pit at an oil change station. And it was 100% their fault.
Oh, wow.
But her injury made her not even understand
her injury, and it
how
makes me so frustrated because folks that suffer concussions or mild traumatic brain injuries, it's really difficult for them to know what happened and to understand the difference in what their life was and what it is now because of the nature of their condition. And so the insurance companies need to recognize the full value of that.
Instead of taking advantage of that very unique situation.
It took her family telling her, you need to call an attorney. Her family coming with her to the appointment to say, these are the differences to get her in there, and now we're able to help her.
I love that. And we are back. We're going to get into Kimmy Hogan's first segment of her interview with Coach Sue Semrau of the FSU winning women's basketball team. Take a look.
Coach Sue, thank you so much for being with us.
Just my pleasure.
So you are the head coach of the Florida State University's women's basketball program.
I am indeed. I've been here quite a number of years and just absolutely love the family atmosphere that we have at Florida State and just throughout the whole Tallahassee community. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I love it too. So how did you get started in basketball?
Well, I played college or high school and college basketball, and so I just loved the game. I didn't think that I was going to go on and coach. I thought I was going to go into communication. I got my degree in that from Southern Cal, and then I went on in sports administration. And so I just started looking at what people do administratively, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. So I thought, well, let's go back in the gym, and kind of just from there on, it became my passion and my love, and fortunately landed me here.
Yes, that's wonderful. Well, Tallahassee's lucky to have you.
Wow. No, I'm lucky to have Tallahassee.
So how many years have you been the head coach at Florida State?
Well, up to this year, it was 23, and then this last year would have been my 24th. So I've been here a number of years, and fortunately was given the opportunity last year to step away for the year to be with my family. My mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and in the whole scheme of COVID and the timing of it all, I made the decision that because she's in Seattle and I'm in Florida, the lag time between COVID testing and being able to see someone wasn't fair to either party if I were to try to do both.
Yeah.
And so we always preach at Florida State, whether it be any athletic or even right down to our program and right down to our players, it's family first.
So how did FSU's administration react when you made the decision to go spend a year with your mom?
Well, it was pretty incredible, and from the top, President Thrasher knows about family and cares about family, and he was all for it, down to our athletics director, who said, look, you've served us for a lot of years, and it is time to get an opportunity to go serve your family. So just being able to have them understand the importance, and then down to my coaching staff and their willingness to step into some big shoes, because it wasn't like we hired anyone new. So that was a big load for them to carry. And then the players were fantastic. When I got home, we got my mom a little puppy, and here comes this big box for a care package, and it's all puppy stuff. And the kids were just, with a couple of exceptions, a blanket for my mom and things like that, but they just really blessed her and me just by being able to do that type of stuff. Is receiving is really hard, and a lot of times as a head coach, you're the one that's trying to give and prepare, but that time was humbling. But at the same time, it was really good during that time.
Oh, that's wonderful. And so you ended up taking the year off to go be with your mom. Is mom okay now?
Mom is cancer-free.
Yay.
It's been phenomenal to have. We've been through 2 scans so far that are clean. I've been out there a couple times since I came back April 1st. Okay. And then I've been back a couple of times just to make sure that she knows it's not just about when you're sick, I'm going to be there, but when you're feeling great as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. So who was holding down the fort at FSU while you were gone?
Well, I have a long time relationship with Brooke Wyckoff. Was a freshman, my first year at Florida State. Was the first class to win enough games to go to the NCAA tournament. She went on and played professionally for quite some time, and was able to hire her back to be an assistant coach at Florida State, and has since become the associate head coach, and is in a phenomenal position to continue her career. She'll be a fantastic head coach, and said, well, hey, you're ready. How do you feel about this? And she took on a really tough job. Going into a year that no one knew what to expect, going into a year where we had lost 3 of our top scorers.
Wow. And
she just jumped in with both feet and did a phenomenal job leading the program.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What things do y'all have in store coming up for this next season?
Well, it's been interesting because obviously coming back into the mix, she did a great job of leading. So I didn't want to just come back in the same capacity and have her just move back over. So we've worked very well together, kind of organically, to develop a leadership path that is going to look different this year. You talk about coming back stronger. Now I have somebody who has had that year of head coaching under her belt. And so to have 2 people now that have head coaching experience, we want to put that opportunity to the forefront and say, not let's go backwards, but let's move forward in a way where we can use those strengths that we both have.
Yeah, I love
so it's really been fun so far. We start in another week with classes in fall, and we'll see what kind of COVID protocols we have, but we'll be tackling it with a with a full staff with a lot of experience.
Oh, that's wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about sports during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, gosh. Every college coach that I spoke with over the course of the summer just was exhausted.
Yeah.
By every twist and turn that COVID created. You never knew. And honestly, I think Brooke handled it a lot better than I would have. She is much more someone who can go with the flow, whereas I've got a plan and a vision, and this is how we're going to get there. And so dealing with that for her for the first time, she had an advantage on me. And me coming back into it now, I have that advantage of her having gone through it. It's interesting what's happening, with the Delta variant coming up and not knowing what is in store. We'll have a good team going into it with our staff, knowing that it could go either way.
So last year, were they able to play games and just not have folks in the stands, or how did that shake out?
Yeah, but 15 games, believe it or not, were either rescheduled or canceled.
Wow.
So if you can imagine the preparation, and then somebody's tested positive on the other team, and so we can't play. There was a lot of build-up for a lot of letdown. They did play a semi-season and did well enough to go to the NCAA tournament, which again was in a bubble, and that was tough. It wasn't, the testing, the constant testing that they had to do, the constant cleaning, the mask wearing. They found a season, but it's not one that anyone would say was a normal college basketball season.
And so this year, y'all are just prepping up and waiting to see how it's going to shake out.
We are, and we're very hopeful because of just what we've learned, and we will remain cautious. But we are an indoor sport versus some outdoor sports. You have a little bit more of the airflow. We've always been spoiled because we're climate controlled. It's like football. You're out there and it's so hot, and you're just like, ha ha, you guys. And now it's like, dang, they're gonna look at us like, ha ha, you gotta wear your masks. But it's gonna be interesting. But we're all ready and excited about it.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to go to a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about the program.
Awesome. Thanks.
Oh, how wonderful. I got a couple of takeaways from that. First of all, I love my Florida State family.
Yes.
Putting family first.
Extended family. That's right,
Noles.
Florida State.
So that's always important. But the second thing is, it reminded me of your book, Come Back Stronger. Here she is faced with this, oh my gosh, is this program going to fall apart? But wait a minute, I got more resources than I thought. I've got this great assistant coach. Let's let her shine, bring it up. And then when she came back, I liked the way she looked at it. She's like, now we've got it covered, man.
Yes.
Who else has got 2 head coaches with all this training? She has, the things I don't have. I compliment her. A lot of people let the ego get in the way of things like that. And then the whole operation fails because of someone's insecurity or wanting to take all the credit. So wow.
Well, what she has is an absolute winning attitude.
Yes, she does.
And what I love about what she said is, it's kind of like the universe is the archer and you are the arrow. And so sometimes the universe has to pull you backwards in order to sling you
Propel you forward.
And that's what happened. She had to take a step back, and then by taking the step back, they were able to propel forward and become even stronger than ever.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That's the winning attitude. That's why she's a winning coach.
That's right. Because, she had the problem with her mother, obviously, and that's, existential. And then she had the, humongous responsibility of, oh my gosh, what am I leaving to this thing that I have built, and these people depend on me and the Florida State family. But she, not only did she, her mom's doing well, the team's doing well, they've managed COVID, and now they've elevated the status of another hardworking team member. And I'm so excited about it.
You got to delegate to elevate.
Jimmy's got a phrase for anything, and so I'm sure he'll have a few more nuggets for us when we come back after this break.
You know what's funny? When law firms advertise that they'll give a free consultation, Every consultation we give is free, unless we can get you a settlement based on your injuries.
Right.
Every time you give me a call, it's free.
Yeah.
I want you to give me a call.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to charge you unless we actually get you something for your case.
That's right. You don't have to pay me anything unless I win the case.
Right.
And on top of that, I'm going to pay for all of the court costs and the deposition costs and medical records costs and expert opinions costs. All of that's coming out of my pocket. And if we don't win the case, then we eat those costs at no charge to you.
Right. So we don't take a case we don't believe in because it's not in our interest.
Right.
And we don't minimize or devalue your case because that's also not in our interest.
Right.
So it makes everything fair.
If you have a lawyer on a contingency fee, you can hire the very best lawyer.
And we are back. Jimmy, the first part of the interview with Coach Sue covered your book, When Life Knocks You Down, Come Back Stronger. Now she's going to get into the Dana stuff. We're going to talk about the inequities in the NCAA and in college sports between women and girls. And when she gives you some of these, women and young men, but when she gives you some of these statistics, it's pretty eye-opening. Yeah. So I know, we're all tuned on certain things. I'm big on feminists and promoting women and girls. You're a parent of girls, so I'm so thankful that we have leaders like this for our young girls. So take a look.
Welcome back, Coach Sue.
Ah, thank you.
So now I'd like to talk about what's going on with women's sports all across the world.
Yeah, it's been such a boom. There's so many more girls that are getting involved in sports. It used to be back in the 70s, I think it was 1 in 27 girls was involved in sports. Oh. And today, it's 1 in 3.
Nice.
And back in the 70s, it was 1 in 3 boys, and now it's 1 in 2. So, you just think about that growth, and it's such a great character builder in so many different ways. We love the opportunity to serve as role models for young girls to go out and to build something that's a lot more than just muscle. But there's a lot of inequities that have existed, if you can imagine, over that time. Why would 1 in 27 girls only choose when 1 in 3 boys would? And so a lot of those are starting to level out, and so we're excited about the continued growth of women's athletics.
Oh, that's wonderful. What's your vision for the future of women's athletics?
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I have a meeting coming up shortly with the ACC coaches where we are going to have a report out on a law firm came in and did a study on the inequities between men's and women's basketball at the NCAA. And so this company came in and said, yeah, there's some pretty big inequities that we would like to see addressed. And so that's exciting that young women aren't feeling like second-class citizens anymore in athletics. It used to be, and even now in some places, there will be a space that's for the women and a space that's for the men, and you can see the huge discrepancies. At Florida State, ever since we built our new training center, it was phenomenal. It was even space, men and women, even space. What do you want to do with your space? What do you want to do with your space? And, when you look at those 7-foot guys, they need a lot of space. And so it made sense for them to take and do what they needed to, and for us to do what we needed to. So I'm really proud of Florida State in that sense. But I also think that as leaders in college athletics, that we can continue to push for the other inequities that are out there in every sport.
Tell me a little bit about some of the inequities that you see.
Well, it was made popular this year during the NCAA tournament when the men's tournament and the women's tournament were on the same weekend, and they were both in a bubble. And so you'd have the women putting out little videos from their phones on what they were eating, and you'd have the men doing the same thing. And these guys are friends, and so they follow each other, and it was just like, whoa. The women have boxed lunches and the guys had huge catered meals. Or the guys would put out this amazing weight room where they would stay fit during their games, and the women, there was like one barbell set for everyone.
Yeah.
And so it became viral, and it was student athletes really now observing what was going on. And people are people, and men and women's athletics are different in the amount of revenue that we bring in right now, but that's not what the NCAA is about. The NCAA is about giving equal opportunity to every athlete.
Yeah. So your vision for the future is that equality.
Absolutely, especially in collegiate or academic settings where Title IX is real, and it's something where, chicken and egg, I think men were given that opportunity first to go and to perform in front of people. And so, yes, they do make more money right now revenue-wise through television and those things, but they were put out there first. And so just the growth of what we've seen now with the Olympics, the women's basketball team winning the gold medal, the volleyball team winning the gold medal, those are really important steps as we move forward into the spotlight.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Thank you.
So I also want to talk to you about all of the good work that y'all do outside of basketball. You have a nonprofit organization through, is it Seminoles with Samaritan Feet?
Well, actually, we try to get out and give as much as we can where there's need, whether it be in our community or even places throughout the world. And I came across a magazine where I was reading about an organization called Samaritan's Feet. And they had a male coach who would coach games barefoot to bring recognition to this organization. So I picked up the phone and said, hey, I see you've got a male coach. Are you interested in a female coach? And from that day on, I've been really working closely with this group, and their mission is to put 1 million pairs of shoes on 1 million kids in 10 years. And so those types of things, I think, are so vital when you think about the founder was from Africa. He didn't wear shoes when he was playing basketball. Someone from America came over and said, hey, whoever wins this contest, I'm going to give you a pair of shoes and a basketball. And he won, and he came on a college scholarship to the United States.
Wow.
And when he went back home and he saw that this was there, he said, this is my mission in life. Because of the disease that can get into a kid's body by not wearing any type of shoes. So we've been a big part of that. I coach barefoot, and it's actually the most comfortable I think I ever am. That's awesome. When I'm coaching barefoot.
Well, that's very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing everything with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Ooh, wonderful.
I love her. I love her. What an amazing leader, a coach with a vision and a coach with compassion. Absolutely phenomenal. What I loved about I love the charity.
100%.
With the goal of 1 million pair of shoes, 1 million kids in 10 years.
You like a specific goal.
I like a quantifiable goal with a deadline. Yes, that is making the world a better place. Man, it's hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that charity.
Yeah, you were just talking about that. Jimmy does a Facebook Live on our Come Back Stronger groups. I hope you will tune into those. It's Basic Brooks, Come Back Stronger. And he talks about goal setting, maintaining your motivation, looking for outside support for it, those sorts of things. And she is nailing all of that. And she is a really leader among people. But wow, whenever I think about the numbers, like they said, Title IX is about making sure there's no disparity in your educational opportunities based on your gender, based on sex. And if you think about it, just 40 years ago, less than 4%, 3.7% of our girls were pursuing athletics. And then now 33% of them, compared with 33% of boys 40 years ago and 50% of boys now. So with those greater numbers comes greater power, and you're going to see a lot of these inequities resolved simply by the number of sheer women who are insisting on it and demanding on it, led by people like Coach Sue. So I can't wait to digest a little bit more of this. We got to take a break right here, but when we get back after the break, we'll just kind of wrap it up and give you a few pearls of wisdom to go out into the week with. We'll be right back.
I went to lunch with one of my former clients the other day, and she's doing great. She took the money from her settlement and she started her own company buying and selling vehicles, which is really cool because she was in a car crash and then needed a new vehicle. And so now she's able to help other folks out.
Most of our clients, they find that one of the most frustrating things is the dealing with the vehicle.
Oh, well, losing your car can totally disrupt your life.
You can lose your livelihood over it. If you can't get to work, or you know, what's the worst thing with our clients is we're just trying to help them get well. But if they can't get to the health care that they need, you know, that's just another setback.
One of the typical things about a comeback story is you take the pain and the struggles and the challenges that you've been through, and you use that as the fire that kind of motivates you to do something good for other people.
Yeah.
And so I love that, because now our client did exactly that, like literally to the T.
And we are back talking about Coach Sue and what she talked about with the inequities in the gender in NCAA sports.
I mean, what I get out of Coach Sue and what she's talking about is that women in sports are coming back stronger.
Yes, they are.
They're coming back stronger. The first step in coming back stronger a lot of times is identifying the problem.
Yeah.
What's holding you back? And what's holding women in sports back is the tradition of the inequities that have people just have accepted. They've accepted it as part of our culture.
Yeah.
And so many women she's fighting against that.
Yeah, they've accepted a second-class citizenry because you were told and you saw all around you that you didn't win the gender lotto. You're a girl. And so you kind of go, okay, well then I'll focus on being a little bit softer and more feminine and nurturing and being a caregiver. And there's nothing wrong with that, 100% nothing wrong with that. But men can do that too. And women can also be leaders. And the greatest thing about sports to me, it's not creating a bunch of future professional athletes. It's discipline. It's having pride in what you're doing. It's giving back. It's all those leadership qualities you need no matter what you take on in life.
Yeah.
And she's nailing it. So thank you for watching this wonderful episode of Coach Sue. You know someone's got a great Comeback Stronger story. Hope you reach out to us at Basic Brooks, join us in our Comeback Stronger groups, and see us again here next time. Thanks for watching.
And you know what the insurance company offered him? $5,000.
Really?
He's completely blind, and they offer him $5,000. Ask him to sign a release.
To a lot of people, especially when they're hurting and when they're down and when they're vulnerable, $5,000 is a life-changing amount of money.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at the value of what has been lost. They're not looking at what it would take to make that person whole, which is our job.
Yeah.
That's our job. Their job isn't. Their job is to save the insurance company money.
Right.
And they look at this person and they go, I bet $5,000 would get your full attention. Right. And they come in and they dangle it with a settlement release, and then once you sign it, you're done. You can't come back to us and ask us to wave a magic wand and make that go away. That can't go away.
My client didn't accept the $5,000. We took him all the way to trial. We got a $5 million verdict.
Some of my clients are just like, wow, you actually believe me. You know, it just takes somebody believing in them and saying, I will stand up for you and I will go seek it out.
It was a slip and fall case. And so in a slip and fall case, you have to have evidence that the defendant knew that the dangerous condition existed for a length of time. I didn't have the evidence, but my client was injured, and he definitely slipped on something on the floor. So I said, you know what? Nobody else is going to take this case, but I'll take the case. And I went ahead and filed the lawsuit. And then the next thing you know, I get the video from the store, and lo and behold, I could tell that the employee at the store literally walked right over the dangerous condition literally minutes before my client slipped and fell on it. And so I ended up settling his case. He said, we're going to be friends for life. I love it.